What you guys, got another video here for you. Don't buy these pre-built gaming PCs. With the shortage of graphics cards right now, pre-built gaming PCs have made a massive insurgence on the internet. There's a load of sites that are selling these pre-built systems. Some of them have onboard graphics. Some of them have, old graphics cards put inside them. Some of them have GT 710s in them. These are the only cards that you can get your hands on. And there's a lot of people promoting this stuff on the internet and also on YouTube. So be very, very careful who you watch on YouTube, because some of these are promoting stuff that is just not worth buying. I'm going to show you some of the things to look out for if you're in the market of buying a PC, and think some of the pitfalls with these, and we'll go through it in this video. Now, this is not about any in particular company. We're just looking at the PCs that are out there on offer, and I'm going to show you some of the things to look out for. So let's start off with this iBuyPower Pro Gaming PC. Let me get the first thing straight here. Gaming PC, it is not, because it is a Ryzen 3 3100 with a GT 710. That makes this a non-gaming PC. It's just a PC to use for emails and surfing the web, and that is pretty much it. You might be able to play the odd game on super low settings, on low resolutions, but you're not going to be playing 1080p gaming on this, I can tell you that right now. What they do to sweeten the deal is they add in a keyboard and a mouse, and basically that's what they're doing here. So let's go through here and take a look inside the case. They do allow you to look inside the case. That is another thing to look out for. If you see sellers online that don't show you inside the case, then don't buy it, because you don't know what you're getting for your money, and you could be buying some old Dell Optiplex put into a brand new case. And there's a lot of that going on, as there always has been, so be very, very careful. So let's take a look at this system and see whether it's worth buying. So I'm going to hover over here so you can see a close-up. Now, you can see it's got a micro ATX motherboard inside a massive case here, and that means there's loads of real estate all the way around, and it just looks a little bit lost inside that case. Cable management could be better, and again, I spot some telltale signs that this could be just an advertisement image. That is another thing that you need to look out for. What do I mean by some sort of advertisement image? It means it might not be the PC that you're getting. Remember, we're talking about a GT 710 1GB graphics card, and this looks a little bit more beefier than a GT 710 graphics card. How do I know that? Well, it's got power going to this card, which a GT 710, as far as I know, doesn't need power cables going to it. That means there's two power cables going to that card, which tells me this is more than likely something like a 1650 or maybe a 1660 Super or something like that. It's not an actual GT 710. There's a telltale sign there, and that is a big no-no in my opinion, and iBuyPower should explain that if it is a GT 710, because I don't think it is. Also, another thing to look out for, you can see two SATA cables there going into the motherboard. Well, this only has a mechanical hard drive. It doesn't have an SSD or an NVMe drive. So why have we got two SATA cables going to the board? Maybe they took a photo of a system they built, and now they're just using those images for all of their PCs. I really don't know. But these are the things I'd look out for when I'm buying them. Now, yes, you can see inside here, and I can tell you right now, the power supply, they're never going to tell you the name or brand of the power supply. It's more than likely going to be a cheap generic power supply. A lot of these pre-built systems have cheap generic power supplies. I'll show you one in a second, but I just want to point out again, another telltale sign is the one sticker memory. They always put one sticker memory in these, and it really does kill performance when you use single channel memory like this with just one stick, and it is a generic stick. So yes, it's got 4 bays of memory slots on there, but again, when you go to update, you're going to need to try and find the same sort of branded memory, and because it's generic, it might be a bit more difficult to find, and you need to get matched pairs. Another thing they also use is lower speed memory. Sometimes they use 266 megahertz memory instead of the higher speeds, and that's because they can get it cheaper. And these are the things they're not going to talk about probably in this build in the listings here. They just keep the names a little bit short and sweet, and they don't tell you actually the make and name of the graphics card. They just call it an NVIDIA GeForce GT 710. They don't say it's an MSI or a gigabyte or whatever it may be. They just tell you the names which are more generic, which means they can change up any of that in the process of building this PC, which means when there's a cheap offer on, they'll get these PC parts and they'll change it up just as you see here. So these are the things to look out for here. I don't like a micro ATX board in a massive case like this. It can be presented a lot more better in a much more smaller case, and it looks much more tidier. So that is that PC there. Is it worth it? In my opinion, no, I wouldn't buy it. It's not super expensive, but it's just not worth it because you're going to end up having to upgrade the power supply, get some more memory, and, you know, that card is probably not the card in there. Don't be fooled by RGB as well. That's another thing they use to try and make it look really cool and people want to buy it. Just like this one here. This one here is $499. And again, this is a gaming PC. It's not a gaming PC, but they will call it a gaming PC because that's what attracts people to buy them. It's got fancy RGB all over the place with a remote control, and it's an Intel i5. I can tell you right now that this is an old system. How do I know? Well, you wouldn't get a PC of that caliber. And also the GTX 650 is a big giveaway. So this is an older card. And again, you've got very sort of generic writing here. They're not telling you exactly what you're getting for your money here unless you really look. Okay, so you come down here, the about item, and now we can see that it's an Intel Core i5-2400, which is a very old processor. So if you are buying this, you are buying old office surplus stuff, and it's going to be put into a fancy case, which I think is literally scandalous. You shouldn't be doing that sort of stuff. It really is bad. If you're going to do it for yourself or your grandkids or your daughter or your son or whatever, then that's okay. But doing it to make profit and selling them is pretty lame, to be fair. And again, you can't see inside here. Just using all these fancy RGB colors to make it look really cool, and people would like to buy it because of the RGB on here, and that's the thing. So let's try and see if we can see inside here. You can see inside that it is pretty much no slots left available. So it's using the 2 slots on here as ketchup and mustard cables for the RGB. And it doesn't look that great inside. And that's because they're just using real basic parts here, which are really old. As you can see, it does give you the full specifications. Here you can read all this. All ready for gaming stuff. I really take this with a pinch of salt. I mean, that could be done at 1080 at 720p, and they're saying you're going to get this amount of frame rates. And what will happen is you'll buy it, put it at 1080p, and you won't be getting anywhere near there. And guess what's going to happen? You're going to be contacting them and saying, I'm only getting 30 frames per second. They'll say, oh, what resolution are you playing at? And you'll say 1080p. They go, oh, we did ours at 720p. It's only 720p. Well, something stupid like that. They're not claiming it inside here. They're just giving you a guideline of what to expect. 30 frames per second for GTA 5 is not good. So I would really be careful with this. And I'm pretty sure that GTX 650 1GB card, you're going to struggle in 2021 for games with that card. So let's move on. Here's another one I stumbled on here for sale. And you can see here, it's trying to pull you in straight away with this as low as 298. What does that mean? Well, it means it's as low as that, but we've got here 16 gigabytes selected, i7, and also we got 250 gig SSD and 1 terabyte hard drive and a 2 gigabyte GT710. So what happens when I accept this and I say I want to buy it, and I think I'm going to get all of this for £298? Let's click this. Oh, it's gone up to now £485.99. And that's the thing. You've just got to be a bit more careful because you can end up buying something. And when I go back here, if I click off this, let me show you this one here. If I click off this, it goes up. Click it back on, it goes up. So if you want to go up to higher, and then you will start going up the higher up the food chain for, I mean, look at that price. That's a ridiculous price for an old system. And again, you're not going to see too much inside here, but it is an old PC at the end of the day. Now, you may get conned into some of this blurb here This is trying to tell you what you can expect from this system. And again, these, I would take these with a pinch of salt, a lot of this stuff. The 2 gigabyte GT710 is not great. And Fortnite 1080p, is it saying 1080p here, or is it saying 720p? Again, it's not clear. And you can see here, recommended specs for graphics cards at 1080p if you want to achieve. There you go. So you can see here, they do say up the top here. But just take a lot of this with a pinch of salt, because these could be just literally, like I said, typing in some numbers here. But when you get it home, it might be a little bit more difficult to reach these targets. I'm pretty sure that this card here, you'll be lucky to get, 20 to 25 frames on low settings. I'm pretty sure of that. And it's not a great card. And I don't think you'd be doing 1080p maybe. And again, you've got all your specifications here. It's all low spec stuff. It's all cheap components they're using. If you look inside the actual case here as well, you'll see there is a black power supply that's called Black Builder. And I'll show you that right now. I've done PC videos of this before. It's a very low grade quality power supply. They're Builder power supplies. And you can get these for as little as, £12 or even less. And if you're buying bulk, you're probably going to get them cheaper than that. And they're not that great. They don't even come with decent quality cables. It's very low quality. And I did a video, check it back, when I bought a pre-built system. It had one of these power supplies in it. And I wouldn't send it out to a friend of mine because I said it's not safe. I don't like these. They've got no certification on them. And again, 22, you can see the price here, $22.95. I've seen these as little as £13. So be very careful when you're buying stuff like these, because if it's got something like that in, you're going to have to swap it out, and that's more money. The same thing for the RAM as well. And it's the same thing for the memory. Again, using cheap memory. This is all it is, just cheap memory, generic memory, not that great, to be honest. So that's what you can expect from these systems. And it's the same thing right across the board here. You can see all of these sites are selling these cheap systems. They try to put a picture here of something like this one here. You're not going to get this, of course, because that's a beefy graphics card in there. You're going to get a relatively rubbish PC. Intel i5 2nd gen, 500 watt power supply. That's going to be one of them cheap old power supplies in there. Used hard drive here, 500 gigabyte. And again, that memory, cheap memory, which is probably already in the system. And a GT710, which is not worth anything really, to be honest, about 25 quid, if that. And yeah, we got an Intel 2nd gen motherboard in there, and a case is the CIT7 case. Now that's £249, and that might be okay for you. You might think, yeah, that's okay just for surfing the web and stuff, but it's not a gaming PC, and that's the thing you have to be careful of. If you start upgrading this stuff to 16 gigs of RAM, and you want, say, a 480 gigabyte SSD, and you want, say, a 2 terabyte hard drive in there, then the price will go up to quite a bit more, like £394, which is a considerable amount more for that system. And I wouldn't pay that for it. These are old Dell office systems like HP and Dell. They just rip them all out and then rebuild the system. So you're not getting something like that with that quality stuff in there. You're just not. That's got a water cooler in there, decent quality RAM in there, and also a decent graphics card. You're not going to get anything looking like that. It's going to be an old piece of crap. That's what you're going to get. So what should you be able to get for your money, and what should you look for? Well, I just wanted to share this with you just in case you are looking for something, because we've been all negative so far. Got to end on a positive. So let's have a look here. CyberPower PC to the rescue. They have got a PC which you can buy, which is decent. And you can see here, this one is a Gamer Extreme. Now, they are using the word gamer. And can they use gaming PC? Yes, they can. How can they use gaming PC? Well, they can because it's got a 1660 Super in it. And a 1660 Super is worth, at the moment, probably about £479 on eBay. Let's check it. So if we look here, you can see the price for these is pretty good. And again, you're only paying, £600 for that PC, and you're getting a card that's selling on eBay right now for, a 479, 400, depending on, what day you sell it on. So yeah, I would say that that's a decent system. You're getting an i5 10400F, which is a very good processor. You're also getting, like I said, the 1660 Super 6GB card. You're only getting 8 gigs of RAM, which means you're only going to have one stick in there, I should imagine. Let's have a look. Yep. One stick of RAM. You're getting an NVMe in there. That looks like a team group or sort of team group or Team Force type. It looks like that to me. And yeah, I mean, ketchup and mustard cables on the power supply. Doesn't look too shabby. So, I mean, you won't know exactly what power supply you're going to get, but yeah, you can change this up to your liking. But yeah, I would say at a later date, you can upgrade this and it will still be a decent machine. Yeah, you're going to still get a micro ATX board in a larger case, but it's not too bad on this one. Cable management looks pretty good. And I would say at that price is a very good system in today's market. At $939, I would say that's a definite good price for that, because you're talking £600, which you wouldn't be able to get over here. But in America, if I see that and I was looking for a PC right now and I want to play games, that's the one I would get out of all the ones we've looked at today. Anyway, I hope this information's been some sort of use to you. And if it has, then share it with your friends. It will help them and stop them from getting ripped off. My name has been Brian from briteccomputers.co.uk. Hope this information's been some sort of use to you. Big shout out to all my friends on YouTube who have joined my YouTube members group. I really do appreciate the support, and I shall see you again for another video real soon. Bye for now.